Reading the title of this article, one might easily assume it will delve into the intricate details of oral affection from the perspective of experts. However, the focus here is not simply on the act itself, but on how this intimate expression relates to your partner and the shared experience between you both. Imagine for a moment the anticipation you feel when you subtly hint to your loved ones what you desire for your birthday or Christmas. You've dropped hints, maybe even outright told them, hoping they'll understand and pick out something that brings you joy. Then the day arrives, the wrapping paper is torn away, and the gift you hold in your hands is not what you had hoped for. There is a bittersweet irony in these moments. On one hand, you want to express gratitude because someone cared enough to get you something. On the other, you can't help but feel a pang of disappointment because it wasn't what you wished for, wasn't aligned with your desires. This situation is common enough that we all recognize it, perhaps from personal experience or from watching similar scenes play out among our friends and family. It highlights a universal truth about giving and receiving. The act is never truly one-sided. The giver expects appreciation not only for the gift itself, but for the thought behind it, and the recipient wants their needs and desires acknowledged. When those two don't align, a delicate dance of emotions unfolds. Gratitude mingles with obligation. Excitement wanes into polite acceptance. Sometimes, despite the best intentions, there is a silent pretending, a quiet tension that neither party fully acknowledges but both sense beneath the surface. Our own story holds a mirror to this dynamic. Back in the 1970s, when we were in our early 20s and still exploring our identities, we were not practicing Christians. During this time, we were deeply involved in physical intimacy, and the excitement and novelty of those experiences fueled our connection. Hormones played their role, making every new exploration feel like an adventure. Discretion was not particularly valued, at least not as much as it might be today, which meant that physical affection and sexual expression were embraced openly between us. We engaged in intimate acts in a variety of places, fueled by youthful enthusiasm and curiosity. I vividly remember moments where I would express affection orally, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction in knowing that I was able to bring my partner pleasure. Likewise, when he did the same for me, the closeness and trust it fostered felt like everything was right with the world. But as time passed, we realized that not all experiences are equally enjoyable. There were certain things that one or the other found uncomfortable or less appealing, and we came to accept those boundaries quietly. Rather than discussing those feelings openly, the uneasy choice was often to simply avoid certain activities. Gradually, what we did was shaped more by what we knew to be comfortable, rather than what could potentially bring greater joy. This pattern, while understandable, didn't foster the kind of intimacy that comes from true understanding and communication. The heart of a healthy, intimate relationship lies in sexual communication. This isn't merely about talking, but about actively listening to one another, understanding desires, boundaries, and even fears. Both partners need to feel safe speaking openly about what excites them as well as what holds them back. The ultimate goal is to give your partner what brings them happiness, pleasure, and satisfaction. There is a profound fulfillment in the willingness to give without constantly expecting to receive in return, though often the joy is reciprocated naturally. There have been moments in our shared journey when one of us is positioned giving affectionate oral attention to the other, lying face down on a mattress, the floor, or even a couch. The eagerness and excitement can be so intense that the partner receiving the affection moves instinctively, grinding or shifting against the surface below in a raw display of desire and appreciation. Those moments, spontaneous and electric, remind us why intimacy is such a powerful connector. Yet, what remains crucial is the humility to acknowledge that no one can ever know everything there is about physical intimacy. Worse still is the expectation that what worked once will always work perfectly, without growth or change. Relationships evolve, and so does the landscape of shared pleasure. Our story continued as we transitioned from dating to marriage, navigating life together, building a home, raising children, adopting pets, and managing busy careers. Life's demands and responsibilities sometimes clutter private moments and drain the intimacy that once came so naturally. It was during this period that we embraced faith and became practicing Christians. Along with this spiritual journey came exposure to new ideas and teachings about what was appropriate within marriage. We met friends and mentors who shared varied perspectives on right and wrong regarding physical affection. However, not every teaching resonated with us, and we learned to discern what truly aligned with our relationship and values. Challenges arose when friends in similar situations expressed discomfort with certain intimate acts. Some women found oral affection distasteful enough to withdraw from sexual intimacy altogether, and some men wrestled with feelings of inadequacy, sensing they could never quite satisfy their partners. These experiences revealed the complexity of marital intimacy and the importance of mutual effort and respect. Marriage is a sacred commitment encompassing not only emotional and spiritual unity, but also a dedicated monogamous sexual relationship. This means that each partner relies upon the other to fulfill their needs for closeness and satisfaction. When one partner withdraws or refuses to engage in this shared bond, it can plant seeds of doubt and dissatisfaction that might lead to thoughts of seeking comfort elsewhere. It became clear that giving to your spouse is an act of mutual cooperation. It's not about imposing what you want upon your partner, but about understanding and meeting their needs. This requires honesty, patience, and a willingness to grow together. Over time, both of us embarked on what we fondly call our sexual revolution, sparked by open, honest communication. This was not a sudden discovery, but an ongoing process of sharing feelings, expressing desires, and learning to listen without judgment. This kind of honesty bridges gaps created during courtship, where many of us hide our true preferences out of fear of judgment. After marriage, holding in those desires can lead to frustration and disconnection. For many Christian couples, the fear is even greater, as certain wishes may be labeled as unchristian or sinful. Yet, we found that communication and mutual respect are key to embracing intimacy without shame. While our conversation can cover many aspects of physical connection, this article chooses to focus specifically on oral affection, the heartfelt exchange that, when approached with openness, can deepen bonds and enrich marital happiness. Rather than assuming the ideal setting is the bedroom, we invite you to imagine other moments where affectionate oral intimacy can be shared, perhaps sneaking away during a family gathering or adding excitement to a long road trip. The essence lies in willingness, presence, and communicating your partner's unique preferences. In the end, the act of giving and receiving affectionate oral intimacy is as much about love and connection as it is about physical pleasure. It is the language through which we speak to each other without words, the gift of understanding, attention, and care that makes a relationship thrive. As time goes on in any relationship, it becomes clear that not every experience is equally enjoyable for both partners. There are actions and moments that might feel uncomfortable or simply less appealing to one person or the other. Recognizing this is important, but what matters even more is how couples respond to these feelings. Instead of forcing themselves or their partner into uncomfortable situations, the natural response sometimes is to avoid those activities altogether. Over time, this avoidance leads to a pattern where intimacy is limited to familiar actions, those known to be acceptable or comfortable, rather than exploring what could truly bring joy and fulfillment. This gradual limitation, though understandable, can leave a relationship feeling predictable and lacking in depth. The heart of a healthy and flourishing intimate connection is built on open and honest sexual communication. But communication in this context is about much more than just talking. It's about listening deeply and attentively to one another. Both partners must feel safe enough to express their desires, fears, discomforts, and curiosities without judgment or pressure. The ability to speak freely about what excites you, what boundaries you have, and what you hope to explore paves the way for a sexual relationship that is not only pleasurable, but also deeply bonding. Communication also involves responding appropriately to what your partner shares, showing empathy and respect for their feelings and needs. At the center of this communication is the desire to truly give to your partner what brings them happiness, pleasure, and satisfaction. Intimacy is not a transaction where giving feeds into receiving. Instead, the greatest fulfillment often lies in the act of giving itself. Many couples find that offering affectionate oral attention spontaneously and in alignment with what their partner enjoys is one of the most powerful expressions of connection. It becomes a gift offered without expectation, though gratifying exchange often follows. Without communication, even spontaneous moments can miss their mark. For example, there have been times when one partner is lying face down on a mattress, the floor, or even a couch, offering attentive oral affection to the other. The intensity and excitement in those moments can be palpable, with the receiving partner physically responding, moving, or shifting against the surface beneath them. These gestures are evidence of the profound pleasure and connection being shared. They remind us why intimacy is a unique and irreplaceable way to experience closeness and love. Yet such moments require more than just action. They require presence, openness, and sensitivity. One of the biggest missteps in sexual intimacy is entering a moment with the assumption that you already know everything there is to know about pleasing your partner. No matter how experienced we may be or how long we have been together, there is always room to grow, learn, and adjust. Even more damaging is the mindset that what worked once will suffice indefinitely without the need for adaptation. A relationship is dynamic, and so are the needs and desires of the individuals within it. Adulthood and life's responsibilities often change the rhythm of a couple's intimate life. With marriage often come children, jobs, homes, and other commitments that fill our days and sometimes leave little space for private connection. These external pressures can clutter intimacy and make it difficult to prioritize moments of closeness. These challenges make communication even more necessary. Without it, couples may drift apart without realizing how much they have neglected their mutual needs. Our journey took a spiritual turn as well. As we embraced faith and became practicing Christians, we were exposed to new teachings and perspectives on intimacy, marriage, and what is deemed appropriate behavior within a committed relationship. Friends, mentors, and spiritual leaders shared their views, some of which resonated with us and others that we felt did not align with the reality of our own relationship. We learned that while community guidance can be valuable, it's essential to discern and apply what works best for our unique connection. Both of us encountered instances where friends expressed difficulties in their intimate lives. Some women found the act of giving oral affection so uncomfortable that they chose to withdraw from physical intimacy altogether. Some husbands shared their feelings of defeat or inadequacy, sensing that no matter what they did, they could not truly satisfy their wives. These situations highlighted how critical it is to encourage honest dialogue and mutual respect in the bedroom. Marriage is not just a legal or social contract. It represents a sacred bond that includes emotional, spiritual, and physical unity. Central to this bond is monogamy, being the sole place where your spouse finds comfort, affection, and sexual fulfillment. When one partner is unwilling or unable to participate fully in this aspect of the relationship, it can create a fertile ground for frustration, unmet needs, and even thoughts of infidelity. This reality is essential to acknowledge so that couples can proactively care for one another's well-being and happiness. With this understanding comes the responsibility to give to your spouse not necessarily what you want to give, but what they truly need from you. This requires a mutual willingness to cooperate, sacrifice, and grow. It is an ongoing process, one that demands honesty, patience, and empathy. Reflecting on our own experience, we often refer to this transformation as our sexual revolution, a period when honest communication reshaped our intimacy and deepened our connection. Communication is the foundation of this revolution. It involves sharing not just the easy and straightforward desires, but the nuanced and sometimes vulnerable truths about what truly turns us on or what holds us back. The courting phase of a relationship often encourages us to withhold certain truths out of fear of being judged or rejected. Yet, this withholding only plants seeds of frustration and misunderstanding that grow over time once married. For Christian couples in particular, these fears can be amplified by concerns that desires might be perceived as unchristian or inappropriate. Our experience has shown that such fears can be overcome with mutual respect, understanding, and open hearts. Highlighting the importance of oral affection in this context, it's worth noting that it doesn't need to be confined to a specific location such as the bedroom. The act can become a playful addition to various shared moments, a road trip where privacy is scarce but eagerness is high, or slipping away during a family gathering to create shared intimacy. The core idea is to be present and attentive to your partner's unique needs and preferences, wherever you might find yourselves. In every relationship, the willingness to try new things, guided by honest communication and mutual consent, can unlock new dimensions of pleasure and connection. Over time, as trust deepens and understanding grows, Couples are often surprised by what brings them joy, even those things they might once have thought uncomfortable or foreign. The key is always respect for each other's boundaries and desires, combined with an adventurous spirit rooted in love and care. Entering into marriage brings with it a profound commitment, not only emotional and spiritual, but also physical. A key aspect of this physical bond is monogamy, meaning that each spouse becomes the exclusive source of intimacy and affection for the other. This exclusivity holds deep meaning and responsibility because it defines the boundaries within which both partners find gratification and satisfaction. When one partner neglects this responsibility, whether intentionally or due to discomfort, it can sow seeds of dissatisfaction that may lead to emotional distance or, in some cases, thoughts of seeking connection outside the marriage. Recognizing this, it becomes clear that fulfilling each other's needs is not merely an act of generosity, but a vital part of preserving the health and unity of the relationship. One of the challenges many face is the temptation to give only what comes naturally or what one prefers, rather than attuning to what the partner truly needs. This self-centered approach can unintentionally leave the other feeling unseen or unfulfilled. Instead, the path to lasting intimacy requires mutual cooperation, where desires, boundaries, and preferences are openly discussed and honored. Through this collaborative effort, couples can discover new territories of pleasure and deepen their connection beyond prior expectations. Our own journey included what we affectionately call a sexual revolution, sparked by honest, sometimes difficult conversations. This revolution was not a sudden epiphany, but a gradual process of peeling back layers of misunderstanding and discomfort that had built over years. A crucial part of this growth was the willingness to be vulnerable, sharing what really excites us, even when those desires felt unconventional or difficult to express. Often, the courtship phase of relationships encourages people to hide certain preferences, fearing judgment or rejection. Unfortunately, carrying these secrets into marriage stifles spontaneity and pleasure. For many Christian couples, this fear is intensified by concerns that some desires might be seen as incompatible with their faith. However, through open discussion and trust, it's possible to reconcile faith and intimacy, honoring both the spirit and the body. When it comes to oral affection specifically, communication is vital. It's a rich form of intimacy, but can be complex because it involves a variety of sensations and emotional vulnerabilities. Exploring what each partner enjoys requires patience and attentive listening. The ability to express approval, guide with words or sounds, and offer encouragement can transform the experience. For instance, a woman might reach a point where an orgasm seems imminent, but then recede as a frustrating cycle sometimes called edging, which can happen in men as well. Staying attentive and persistent without losing enthusiasm helps both partners reach greater heights of pleasure. Discovering which areas bring the most satisfaction involves exploring beyond the obvious. While much attention is often focused on central sensitive zones, gentle kisses along the inner thighs or soft touches around the vulva can act as powerful enhancers. Using fingers in a way that complements oral attention can bring new dimensions of delight. Sometimes partners are willing to venture into activities they were once hesitant about, always emphasizing cleanliness, safety, and mutual consent. For example, introducing gentle touch in areas like the anus, when both feel comfortable, can add length and depth to the experience. It's important to remember that in all explorations, respect must guide the exchange. If one partner wishes to try something new, gentle communication about willingness and boundaries should give way to wholehearted acceptance or graceful decline. Both responses deserve respect without pressure or judgment. Such mutual understanding builds trust and creates a safe environment for exploration. With time and experience, sexual expression often changes. Health challenges, emotional moments, and age impact how partners experience pleasure and what they desire. The willingness to adapt and experiment reflects care and commitment to one another's satisfaction. This ongoing dialogue and openness breathe life into intimacy and preserve its freshness across the years. Ultimately, the greatest gift partners can offer each other is the willingness to be honest, vulnerable, and responsive. Sharing desires and respecting limits create a sacred space where intimacy flourishes. Through this shared journey, couples find not only physical satisfaction, but a deeper connection that enriches every aspect of their marriage. Oral affection is a deeply personal and intimate way to express love and desire, and its beauty lies in its versatility. It can be shared in nearly any setting, not just confined to the privacy of a bedroom, whether it's during a quiet moment on a road trip, a brief escape during a social gathering, or simply a spontaneous act of closeness. Embracing these opportunities can add excitement and freshness to the relationship. The key is to remain attentive and present, ready to respond to your partner's unique preferences and signals wherever you both may be. Understanding that intimacy doesn't require a perfect place, but a perfect attitude opens up many possibilities for connection. When it comes to a woman's pleasure, oral affection often focuses on a small, highly sensitive area located just beneath her outer folds, the clitoris, but true enjoyment is about more than a single spot. The vulva, inner thighs, pelvis, and surrounding areas all hold sensitive nerve endings that, when stimulated with care and attention, enhance the overall experience. Gentle, soft kisses along the inner thighs, for example, can awaken sensations of warmth and anticipation, setting the stage for more direct connection. Using your tongue, lips, and mouth with varied pressure, ranging from tender and sensual to more vigorous, allows you to tailor your touch to what your partner enjoys most. One important aspect to understand is the phenomenon often called edging, where a woman approaches climax but pauses just before reaching it. This retreat may happen multiple times during one session, which can be both tantalizing and frustrating. It requires patience and encouragement to keep going, as giving up too soon or losing enthusiasm can diminish the moment. Verbal affirmations and sounds of pleasure act as important guides, helping build confidence in the person offering the affection. Letting your partner know that what you're doing feels good encourages them to continue in the same way rather than suddenly changing techniques at a critical moment. Incorporating the use of fingers, toys, or other means can complement oral affection beautifully, adding layers of stimulation that deepen pleasure. The way fingers are used can vary greatly. For some women, gentle insertion just past the opening, with fingertips curved to press against sensitive inner parts, creates an entirely new dimension of sensation. Combining this with focused oral attention on the clitoral area can result in particularly intense and satisfying experiences. Exploring other areas with openness, such as the anus, might initially feel intimidating for some, but with cleanliness, patience, and mutual consent, these practices can be part of a loving adventure. The feeling of having a thumb or finger gently inserted while other fingers explore inside the vagina can produce overwhelming sensations that envelop the whole being. Crucial in all of this is clear and ongoing communication. Since each individual's preferences and comfort levels vary, discussing boundaries and desires candidly ensures both partners feel respected and safe. Listening intently to verbal cues or nonverbal responses like moans, shifts in body language, or quiet requests guides the giver to adjust their actions accordingly. Spontaneity and willingness to try new things should always be balanced with respect for limits. If a partner expresses hesitation or declines a suggested approach, their choice should be honored without pressure. For many, these intimate experiences deepen as years pass. Our shared journey has led us to a place where our erotic life is more fulfilling than ever, despite occasional hurdles such as health issues or emotional stress. Love matures, and so does the ability to connect deeply on all levels, including physical intimacy. Remaining open, patient, and adventurous keeps the connection alive and enjoyable. The power of oral affection lies not only in the physical sensations it brings, but also in the emotional closeness it fosters. Taking the time to explore every curve and sensitive spot with tenderness speaks volumes about love and dedication. Every kiss, lick, and caress is a word spoken in the silent language of devotion. This form of intimacy, when nurtured with communication and respect, transforms into a profound shared happiness that strengthens the foundation of the relationship and enriches every aspect of life together. As time passes and couples grow together, it's natural for physical intimacy to evolve, especially for men as they age. Changes occur in anatomy and responses, and these shifts can sometimes lead to feelings of uncertainty or concern. It's important, as a partner, not to assume that any changes in desire or performance are personal faults or a reflection of diminished attraction. Open, understanding communication about these changes can ease anxiety and foster connection. Each man's experience is unique, so discussing what feels pleasurable or different becomes essential to maintaining satisfying intimacy. Through attentive observation and ongoing dialogue, it's possible to discover new ways to bring pleasure and closeness. For instance, some men enjoy gentle stimulation of their nipples during moments of intimacy, adding to their overall experience. Others may find that a finger in the anal area with proper communication, cleanliness, and care can provide deeply pleasurable sensations. Prostate massage, which involves stimulating a particular sensitive area inside the rectum, is gaining recognition for enhancing male pleasure during climax and can be incorporated when both partners feel comfortable. These explorations require trust and consent but can add remarkably rich dimensions to the shared experience. Oral affection, while wonderful, can become physically demanding over time. Giving pleasure with the mouth requires endurance and can tire the lips, jaw, and neck. To balance this, combining oral attention with manual stimulation using one or more fingers or the hand can relieve strain and create variety. Alternating stimulation techniques, including gentle pinching of sensitive areas such as nipples or light anal touch, can revitalize the experience for both partners. Some men find an extremely sensitive spot on the underside of the tip of their penis, called the frenulum. When properly stimulated, this area can intensify sensations and lead to more satisfying climaxes. Techniques such as stroking the shaft with a firm grip while moving the mouth up and down, synchronized with gentle sucking, stimulate multiple senses simultaneously. Applying a good amount of lubrication ensures comfortable and pleasurable movements. Combining hand and mouth in such a coordinated way often creates powerful responses and deeper connection. Gentle attention to the scrotum, the skin pouch containing the testicles, can also add to a man's pleasure. Instead of squeezing, which might cause discomfort, lightly massaging or milking the skin at the base of the penis can bring feelings of warmth and excitement. A loving touch here can signal care and attention as much as it stimulates physical pleasure. Making eye contact during intimate moments enhances emotional connection significantly. The vulnerability and trust shown when looking directly into a partner's eyes while offering oral affection can heighten desire and create a deeply bonding experience. Combine this with soft whispers, shared breaths, and the natural sounds of pleasure, and intimacy moves from the purely physical to something profoundly emotional. As with all aspects of intimacy, patience and understanding are key. Aging brings changes that may impact timing, often making it take longer for climax to be reached. Though it might require more time, many find that the sensations become more intense and meaningful. This shift can be an opportunity for couples to slow down, savor the moment, and explore new rhythms and tempos that suit both partners. On occasion, physical ailments or emotional challenges may temporarily slow down or lessen intimate encounters. During these times, compassion is essential, and partners can explore closeness in other ways through gentle touch, caring words, or simply being close. These moments reaffirm connection and love, reminding both that intimacy encompasses much more than physical acts alone. Over the years, maintaining a fulfilling sex life requires ongoing effort and communication. What brought pleasure one year might evolve, and new preferences and boundaries may emerge. Remaining open to discussing these changes, experimenting safely and consensually, and supporting each other through fluctuations creates a resilient intimacy that can withstand life's many challenges. Our intimate life today, while shaped by experience and age, is richer and more satisfying than ever before. The layers of trust, understanding, and shared memories deepen our connection far beyond the physical. This continuous journey reflects a commitment not just to passion, but to partnership, respect, and love in all its forms. It reminds us that true intimacy grows and blossoms when nurtured with care, attention, and open hearts.